So, hi, good morning, everyone. So, quick one. I just want to summarize what we've done and everything. I'm just going to be summarizing it so you can actually watch this video also. So, what we're going to do is I'm just going to summarize everything, what we've done on Git, how to create the local repository, you create a file, you add the file to the index or the staging area. You can also commit the file to the local repo. We create different branches. We tag our commit IDs. We check the logs. Then we also push our code to the remote repository, which is our GitHub repository. So pretty much I'm going to start. Let me share my screen first. So I'm going to share my screen. This is my screen right here. Then I'm going to start creating my local repository, which is my local repository will be my words, will be on my desktop. So I can actually create the local repository right from my command line interface, which is this right here, my command line interface. I'm going to show you my command line. You can see my command line interface. This is my command line interface. So I'm going to create my local repo on my desktop. But before I go, PWD, I'm not on my desktop. So I have to cd to my desktop right now, which is change directly to desktop. It's very simple. Now I'm on my desktop. You can see right now, I'm on my desktop. If I type PWD again, it shows me I'm on my desktop. Now I can create my local repo. I can name the local repo anything. I can name it anything. So I'll create a folder, which is mkdir. The folder name will be, let me say, my local repo will be real. Let me say, I want to name it real repo. This is my repo name. So if you check on the desktop, you won't see anything like any folder name real repo on the desktop. If you check the desktop, yeah. If you check this desktop right now, you won't see any folder name real repo. So once I create it, you can see there's a folder created called real repo right now, real repo. Though now I will go into the folder. I need to cd change directory into the folder, which is cd real repo. I'll just do cd real repo. That's just it. Now I'm inside the real repo right now. Now if I type pwd, I'm inside a folder called real repo. Real repo is inside a folder, which is our desktop. Then our desktop is in our username. That's just it. So that is our local repo now. Then all we need to do is to initialize this local repo, which is git init. Now we've initialized the local repo. Now we can start creating files. Note that we are in, if I do git branch, in what branch are we? Why? So we've not even commit yet, so we can't see the branch. So now I'll create a folder. I'll name it, I'll create a file, which is touch file one. Then I want to write something in this file one, vi file one. Now I will write, this is the first line. Just imagine we're writing code, then save it. You save the file. Then if I do git status, now we can see it says on track file. This file is on track right now. I want you guys to take note of this word, on track files. This file is on track. The file is just in our working directory, which is this real repo, which is our folder that we have here. The file is just in the directory. Git is not monitoring it yet. You need to know that Git is not what monitoring it yet. So now for Git to start monitoring this file, we have to run a command called git add the file name. So we'll run this command git add file 1. Now Git is monitoring this file now, file 1. So now we can commit this file now to our local repo. So we'll say git commit -m, then the message we said first commit. This is just a run through of everything what we've done. Now Git, we've committed it now. It's in our GitHub local repository. We can check Git branch. What branch are we? We are in the master branch now because we've committed it. So once we commit the first time, it will create a master branch where it will commit it to. So it's in the master branch now, right now. Then we can check git logs, git log. You can see, look at this, the commit ID. This is the full commit ID. And you can see head is equals to master. This master is our local repo master, our local repo, which is our folder here. Anyone you see in green is our local repo master. So it says who commits the author. I'm the one that committed this, and this is my email, and this is the first commit. Like if you're a Windows user, we talked about this already. You need to do what? You need to set your Git global configuration. So how do you set that? If you don't set it, you won't be able to commit. Note that. If you don't set your global configurations, you won't be able to commit. So when you do git config -list, this is where you see your global configuration. You can see the credentials. It's using what? The keychain, username, this is my name, user email, this is my email. These are the configurations. Windows users, if you don't do this, you won't be able to do what? You won't be able to commit. That is just it. If you don't do this, you won't be able to commit. So first of all, if you want to set your global configuration, all you need to do is git config -global user .name. Then you put your name. Sorry, let me bring down this. Git config user.name. Then you put your name. If it's my name is Bolaji Sir, then you close it. So you have to set your global configuration like this. If you are a Windows user, Mac users, if you want to change your name, you can also set it again too. But by default, Git use our local credentials. So you have to set your global configuration. You remember the name I had before. You can see this name here is what? Isaac Sir. I can change the name to Bolaji Sir. So if I run this, then I will change my email. I also want to change my email. What was the last email I have? Bolaji. I can change my email. I will run the same thing again. Git config -global user email. Then what is my email? I will say my email is what? I have one email I want to use here. I have one email I want to use here. I can use this email. So, okay, I will use the email is what sal@gmail.com. So this is the email I'm using here. Then I will set the email. Now, if I run git config -list, if I run this, you can see the name has been changed and the email also changed. So this is setting up of our global configuration. So now you can see it. Even as Mac user, I was able to change it. So if you don't set it as a Windows user, you won't be able to commit anything. You won't be able to commit. So you have to change your global configurations. Now, let's do git log. Git log, you can see it shows us, this was the first commit we did. It shows the old name and the old email. Now, imagine someone else is editing the file and wants to commit. How do you know who edits the file or who committed the file? Is by doing git log. It shows us the log of the commit, which is this. This is the log. It says the first commit. So let's go back to our file again. Don't forget we have file one. File one. So let's edit the file one. VI file one, right? We'll say this is second line. We say this is the second line, right? Then we'll save it. Now we've saved it. If I do git status, it shows we've modified our first file, right? Now let's add it and commit it. We'll say git add file one. Now with my command, git, I didn't complete the add. I wrote git add. So it's git add file one. Now I've added the file. That means Git is monitoring the new version of our file right now, which is the second line. Then we'll commit it, git commit -m. Then we'll say second commit. It's very straightforward, second commit. Now it's been committed. Now let's check our git log. Git log. Now you can see the difference. This is the second commit. This is our second commit, and this is the commit ID right here. You can see the full commit ID right here, and head holds the latest commit ID. And what he's saying right now is that head that holds the latest commit ID is also facing the master branch in our local repository in our laptop. That means our master branch, which is our local repository, is what is up to date. Our local branch, our local repository master branch is up to date because head is facing it right now. So that means the latest commit is facing the master branch of our local repository, which is the head. So now we can see what we've done. We've committed the first commit and second commit. You can see, but because I reset our global configuration, you can see the first author who pushed it, Isaac, and this is the user, this is the email. The second commit, who committed it, Balaji, and this is the email. So this is how you use git logs to check the logs of every commit or what has been done in git. Now, quick one, I want us to, we can check the difference. We also did git diff. We can check the difference of this commit ID. First of all, I like using the git log --1 line, which shows us the commits in short form, the logs in short form, I mean, and the commit IDs are also shortened. So now you can see this is the commit ID for the second commit, and this is the commit ID for the first commit. These are just in short forms. Yeah. Now we can check the difference between these commits. What are the difference? Okay, the first time the file was committed, what was inside the file? The second time the file was committed, what did they add? So we can use git diff commit ID 1. This is the commit ID of the first commit and the commit ID of the second commit. That is all you need to do. So you are checking the difference between these commit ID, between these two commit ID. Yeah, that is just what we are doing. Yeah. So pretty much we can check the difference between the first commit and the second commit. So we just enter it, and it's telling us the first line, which is the blue one. You can see the first one, which is the white, the first line, which is the white color, has what? the first line. Why the green one, which is the second commit, has what? The second line. So that is just the difference. It's just telling us that the first commit ID holds this line, while the second commit ID holds this line. You can see A is the first commit, then plus plus, which is the second commit, is added, which is the plus. This is added. So that is just the difference. That is how to use git diff. So pretty much we talked about git diff also. So, and that is how you can use git to check the difference between commit IDs. Then we also talk about tag. So if I run this command git log --1 line, we have our commit ID, but they are not being tagged yet. And I like to tag all our commit IDs. You can also tag your commit IDs. So with command like git tag, let's say version 1.0, what is the commit ID you want to tag? You always tag your commit ID. So this is the first commit ID, first commit. I want to tag it. So then I'll say -n, which is the message. I also put 1.0 to tag it also. And this is how to tag. So I'm tagging the first commit ID, git tag version 1. Then the commit ID, the message, the same. Okay, I'll put V1. Sorry, let's put V1. Because I like to use the same tag name as my message. So enter. Now it has been tagged. If we check the logs again, git logs --1 line, you can see our first commit ID has been tagged. Then second commit ID is not tagged yet. Let's also tag the second commit ID. We will say git tag. We want to tag it as version 2.0. Then what is the commit ID we want to tag? The second commit ID, second commit ID. Then -n, which is the message. Then we will say is version 2.0. This is it. Then we tag it. Now, if we check the logs again, now you can see our second commit has been tagged also. Our second commit has been tagged also. So you can see it now. So now let's create another file also. So if you do vi file2, we create a new file and open the file in an edit mode. We don't have file2 in our local repo. If I do ls, we don't have file2, we only have file1. But if you want to, instead of creating a file, touch file2, then you now run command vi file2 to go to an edit mode. Vi file2, we create the file and put you in an edit mode automatically. Enter. Now we have file2. Now we can create this file. You see, this, you can write something in this file. This is for file2. Then we save it. We save it, right? Now we've saved the file2. Now we have how many files now? 2 files. Then we'll say what we want to add it, we want to commit it. So first of all, you can type git status. Then we have file2 already. Then let's add it. Git add file2. Then git commit -n. What is the message? We can say third commit. This is very straightforward. Third commit. Now we've committed it. Now, how do we check our logs? We say git log --1 line. Now we have our third commit. Now we have third commit, which is the latest commit. You can see every latest commit is on the head and is focusing to the master local branch in our GitHub local repo. So now every latest commit is the head, that's the top. And if the head is focusing on this, that means the head, the master branch has the latest commit, which is the head. So, but we also need to tag our latest commit. We also need to tag our latest commit. So we can say git tag version 3.0. what is the commit ID, which is this latest commit ID. We also need to tag it, we paste it, then message is going to be version 3.0. That's it, straightforward. Now we've done that. Then one more thing we need to do, we can check the difference between this second commit and third commit. What is the difference? We can say git diff, the second commit ID. We want to check the difference between the two commits and the third commit ID. I know the only difference I can see that this second commit ID has one file and we edited 2 lines, which is the file 1. This third commit ID was the second file, which is the file 2 we created that holds the second. So we can enter. Now you can see it. So you can see it now. New file mode. That's just the difference. New file mode. So a new file was created. A new what file was created. That's the difference between the second commit and the third commit. A new file was created. New file mode. You understand? A new file was what created, and the file name is file 2. And we added this into the file 2. That is just the difference. You see, file 1, when we created file 1, that was when we created file 1 and we added 1 line into the file 1. That was when we generated this commit ID. Then we edited file 1 and put another line, which is the second line. That was when we generated this second commit ID. But this third commit ID was when we created this file 2 and we enter a line, which is this line, and we commit it. That was when we get this commit ID file 3. So now if you are checking the difference between this and this, the difference between them is that a new file was created, which is file 2, and this line was added to it. That is it. That is the difference. That is the difference. So now the difference between this file and this file, that's just the difference. A new file, you can see new file mode. A new file was created, which is file 2, and we enter this line. That was it. So now we have 2 files in our Git local repo right now. Yeah, Git local repo. And we also have Git branch. We also talk about Git branch. Now we're working on master branch. So we're going to create a new branch called dev branch. And you remember, every new branch you create inherits the content of the old branch from the old branch. So if we create a dev branch, it's going to inherit all the content we have in master branch, which is these 2 files, file 1 and file 2. So let's create a new branch. I'm going to show us 2 different commands to create a new branch. Then we say git branch. This is the first command, git branch dev. So it's going to create a new branch called dev. Then so now let's say git branch. Now let's git branch. Now we have 2 branches now, dev and master. So this command git branch dev will create a new branch called dev. Then we use git branch to check if we actually created a new branch, and this is the dev branch. This is the branch we're working on. You can see it is green and with asterisk. So this is the branch we're working on. So we are in master branch now. If you do ls, we see 2 files. Let's switch to dev branch. We will say git checkout. That is the command to switch to any other branch. Git checkout dev. Git checkout dev. Now we've switched to branch dev. Now, if I do git branch to confirm if we really switch to dev branch, git branch, now we've switched to what? Dev branch. You can see it, right? Then we can do ls to see we have 2 files in dev branch. Because I say when you create a new branch, it inherits the content of the older branch that you are creating the new branch from. So now let's work on this dev branch now. This is like an hands-on. Let's work on this Git branch. We're on dev branch. So let's work on dev branch. Let's create a new file, which is going to be touch file 3. You remember I said if you want to create a new file, right now we don't have file 3. Let me claim it first. Let's do ls. You can see we don't have file 3. We only have file 1 and file 2, and we are working on dev branch right now, right? If you want to create a new file, is either you do vi file 3. Vi file 3 will create a new file called file 3, and it will open it in an edit mode. That's just it. But touch file 3 we only create the file. Then you have to vi into the file again. So which one is easier? Since you already know that, okay, you want to edit the file, you want to write something in the file. So it's better we use vi file 3. Vi file 3, we create the file and open the file in an edit mode for us. So now we've opened the file. Then we'll write this, we'll write something inside this file. This is for dev branch, and we'll save it. I want to believe we know how to edit file and write something in it and save it. So this is for file 3. So if I do git status, it said we have an untracked file. Please, I want us to keep in mind this untracked file because we're going to work with it later. We have an untracked file. We need to use git add the file name to add it so that Git will start monitoring it or tracking it. So we'll say git add file 3. Don't forget, oh, I keep saying git add, sorry. Git add file 3, right? Now, don't forget, Git is now monitoring it, and we are on what branch? We are on dev branch. So dev branch has 3 files now. If I do ls, dev branch has 3 files now. So let's commit it because we've not commit this file to the local repo. Let's commit it. Git commit -m, which is the message. We'll say for dev branch. It's just a message. This M is just a message. This is just a message. You can write anything. You can even put your name. So now we've committed it. Now, if I do ls, we have 3 files. What branch are we? We are on dev branch. Now let's switch to master branch. If we're still going to have 3 files. So we'll say git checkout master. We want to go to master branch. Now we've checked out to master branch. Let's check which branch are we? We're on master branch. If I do ls, how many files do you see here? 2 files. So master branch has 2 files, but dev branch has what? 3 files. You can see. So now our dev branch has an updated file, while master branch has the older commit. So let's switch back to dev branch. We'll say git checkout dev. Now we've switched back to dev branch. Let's see if we're actually in dev branch. Yeah, we're in dev branch. Now let's check our logs in dev branch, which is git log -1 one line. Now we can see it. Because this is the latest commit, which is for dev branch. It is on the head and it's focusing on dev. It's facing dev branch right now. Our master branch is still on the older commit, which was the 3rd commit. Okay, so now we will need to tag our latest commit ID. So we can say git tag, we can want to tag it version 4.0, then the commit ID, -m, which is version 4.0. Then we'll close it. This is how we tag it. So now we can do git log -1 line again. You can see now master branch has 2 files, dev branch has 3 files because dev branch is up to date now. You can see it's very simple and straightforward. Dev branch is what's up to date right now. So now we have all of these done. This is just a summary. If you really want to go deep inside, you can watch all the videos. But if you understand what we've been doing, I just want to summarize everything, just want to actually know what we're doing, you can just do this. So now, now dev branch is updated with 3 files, while master branch still have 2 files. Now let's do what? Let's merge dev branch to master branch so that master branch can also be updated. So now you need to know what branch are we first. We are in dev branch. Dev branch is the updated one. Master branch is the old branch that still has 2 files. Now you have to change to this branch first to merge from dev. That is how we do it in the local repository. You have to change to this branch first to merge from dev. Then we'll say git checkout master. So we are going into master branch. So now we are on master branch. Now that we are on master branch, you can see git merge dev. That means we want to merge all the 3 files in dev branch to master, because right now master only have 2 files. Let's check it. Let's check it before we merge first. How many files do we have in master branch? ls, we have just 2 branch. You can 2 files. We are in master branch, and master branch has just what? 2 files. So now we need to merge dev branch to master branch, because dev branch has what? 3 files. Master branch has what? 2 files. So we can actually say git merge dev. Don't forget we are in what branch? Master branch. You have to go into the branch that has the old files or the old commit. So don't forget, you have to go back to the master branch, because master branch is lagging behind. So that's the correct one. Any branch that is lagging behind, you have to go into that branch first to merge the updated branch to it. So now we are in our master branch. So we are going to merge. So we are running git merge dev. So git merge the content of dev to master. That is what we're saying. So now we've merged it. Now, if I say ls, master branch now has what? It has 3 files now. Before, our master branch has what? 2 files. Immediately we finish running, we did the git merge dev, master branch now have what? 3 files. So now let's check the log also. You can see git log dash one line. Now we can see master branch is on the same pace with dev branch. So now it says head, which is the latest commit, is on the same commit ID with master branch. Dev and master branch are on the same commit ID now. You see it? So this is very simple and straightforward. So now we have 2 branches now, and these 2 branches are up to date, dev and master branch. Now, what branch are we? Git branch. We're on master branch. Now let's create another branch called test branch. So this command, when I created dev branch, I use git branch dev to create dev branch. Now we will use another command called git checkout -b test. So this branch will create this command, will create this new branch. You can see we only have 2 branches right now. This command will create test branch, and it will check out to the test branch. Instead of us to create the branch first, then we'll now run another command to check out to it. No, this command will create the new branch and check out to the new branch. You can see switch to a new branch test. So if I do git branch again, we have 3 branches now: dev, test, and master. And test, we are in test branch now. And I said, if you create a new branch, it's going to inherit. If you create a new branch, it's going to inherit all the content of the branch you are creating it from. So we created this new branch from master branch. So it's going to inherit all the content of the master branch, which is the 3 files that we have. And it will also be on the latest commit ID. So we're in test branch now. Let's do ls. It has 3 files. Let's do git logs. Git log as a small line. So you can see it's also saying our test branch is up to date also. So they're on the same commit ID. So commit ID is very important. Commit ID is very, very important. Yeah. Commit IDs is very, very important. They are important. You need to always work with commit ID. So all the branches, the 3 branches we have right now, they are what? They are up to date. All the branches are what? Up to date. They are up to date. So now I want us to do what? Push to our what? Remote repository. That's what I want us to do right now. And we're going to push to our remote repository soon. So I'm going to create a new repo and we'll push to it, which is very. So what we're going to do is we want to push our repository, our local, our files into the remote repository now. So quick one, I'm just going to create my GitHub account because I don't have the GitHub account here yet. So I'm just going to create, sign up GitHub account. So the email is going to be this what so at gmail.com. Just your email address, guys, your Gmail address just to create it. Then let me confirm the email is correct. This was yeah, that is it. So I'm going to create it. Then the password, I'm just going to put my password. I'm just going to put my password. I don't think I use the correct password. I'm just going to put, you know, I'm using the correct password right now. So username, I'm going to use this what so as my username. This WhatsApp is available here as my username. Would you like to receive? No, I don't want to receive anything. Then verify. Then I'm going to verify it. So, okay, I should turn this. I've done this before. I think this is right. Yeah, I think this is right. Okay, yeah, I'm good. Then create account. So it's going to open. It wants me to confirm the account. I'm going to confirm the account. So I think, let me see. Yes, let me see. Okay, it's here. So I'm just going to copy the code and confirm the account. Yes, so I'm confirming the account. It's just me. This is how to create a GitHub account. I'll select everything. I'll select everything. I usually like selecting everything and confirm. So I'm using a free version of it. So please continue for free. So our account as what has been created. So our account has been created. So now this is our GitHub account. It's just a GitHub account. We need to create a new repository. So you can click here to create a new repository, or here, start writing code, start a new repository. This is our GitHub account, then our repository name. What is the new repository name? We can see training, 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 training one, or just training. That's the repository name, but this is our GitHub account. So you can create multiple repository in a GitHub account. So it's going to be a public repo. Don't forget, it's going to be a public repo. Then we can create it. So we're creating it. It's saying what, okay, continue. So let's go back. Let me see what happened. Create. Let me see first. Okay, let's see why it's not creating. It's confirmed. So it's public training. Let's say training 101 first. Let me see. Okay, it created. So now I just rename it to training 101, then you create it. That's just it. Maybe there's an issue with training or something. So now I create the repo. The repository is called training 101. You can see the repository name and our GitHub account name. That's just it. So now we want to do what? We want to push our code to this remote repository where other developers or engineers can get the codes and update the codes also. So first of all, let's go to our local repo. How do you know that your local repo is being integrated to a remote repo? All you need to do is git remote-v. Now, there are no remote repo integrated with your local repo. There are no what? No remote repo integrated with your local repo. So now we need to integrate both repos together, the local repo and the remote repo. So what we need to do is, all we need to do is just copy this command right here. Finish, git remote add origin this. So the remote repo link is this. This is our remote repo link, which is github.com, the account name, and the repository name, then .git. Finish. You just need to copy this line. I'm going to say, I'll copy that line, then I'm going to paste it here. So what this line is doing is what? Sorry. So what this line is doing, let me paste it again. So what this line is doing is very simple. I'm gonna explain. So we are saying git remote add. So add the remote repository, which is this, to our origin. Our origin is the local repo that we have that we've been working on. So we're going to add it. Now we've added it. Now we'll run the command git remote -v again. Now you can see it. We now have what? Origin to this. So remember, this origin is just a placeholder, is a name holder. We can change it to anything. We can do what? Change it to anything if we want to. We can actually change the origin to anything. So let me quickly open. Okay, we can change the origin to what? To anything. It's just a placeholder. This origin is just a what? A placeholder. So we can change it to anything that we want to. Then now we've been able to integrate our origin, which is our local repo, to our remote repo. Now we can push to this remote repo. So first of all, which branch are we? Let's say git branch. What branch we're on? We're on test branch. So we'll start pushing test branch first and dev branch. Or let's push dev branch first. So let's check out to what dev branch. We're going to check out to dev branch now. Yeah, so I want us to push from dev branch first. Let's do it accordingly. Let's push from dev branch. Or no, accordingly, let's push master branch first. Master branch is the main branch. So let's push the master branch first. First of all, let's check the log files. Git log dash one line. Now, all the branches are on the same commit IDs, so we are fine. So let's push the master branch first. So we'll say git, so we'll say git push. No, first of all, let's go to the master branch. Let's switch to the master branch, which is git checkout master. Now, I'm on master branch. If I do git branch, we are on master branch. So let's say git push origin master, git push what? Origin master. So push it. So it says what? So this was the issue I want to resolve today that we had yesterday. The issue I wanted to resolve today. This is it. So I'm going to resolve this issue today because it took me a while. And my friend Slim also came. We did some troubleshooting. So it says it can't push deny. It wants to push to this GitHub repository, but we are on this GitHub repository. So I will check my keychain, my keychain. So all I need to do is come here, type, search for keychain. It's very easy, keychain. Yesterday we did almost how many hours doing this. So I search for keychain and I'm going to look for, click on this. If you are using Mac and you are getting this issue, click on login, search for keychain, enter it, click on login and password here. Then you look for what? GitHub. You see GitHub here, you right click on it and delete it. That's just all you need to do. Right click on it and what? Delete it. Yes, delete. Now it's been deleted. I'll close it. Then what I'm going to do again one more time is what? Try to push again one more time. So when I'm trying to push, it will bring up this signal right now. Sign in. Yes, I want to sign in. I don't want to use token. I want to really sign in. Yes. Then it will ask you to authorize. This is what it's going to show. When you click sign in, it will ask you to say this, then authorize ecosystem successfully. Authentication succeeded. Finish. Then it has pushed. That is just what we were supposed to do yesterday, that I was doing a whole lot of troubleshooting and stuff. So that is that. Now it has been master. You can see it says done. You can see to this our remote URL. It has pushed to our remote URL. It creates a new branch in our remote URL called master, and it pushed master from the local branch to the remote, from the local repository to the remote repository. That means a new branch was created in the remote repository, which is our remote repository URL here. A new branch was created called master, and the master branch was pushed. Master branch from local repository was pushed to our remote repository. Finished. That was what we were supposed to have done yesterday. So I don't want us to get it confused. That's why I'm redoing this whole summary videos. Let's check it out. Okay. So we're going to continue pushing the rest branches now. So we're going to push the rest branch. We have the rest branches on our remote, on our local repo to our remote repo. Right now, we've pushed master branch in our local repo to a master branch in our remote repo. So let's check our remote repo. Let's confirm the branch, the remote repo has been pushed. So this is it here. This is our new repo, right? And for us, all we need to do is just to refresh. So once we refresh, you can see our master branch has been pushed. And you can see the commit ID here is on the latest commit commit ID. You can see it's on the latest commit ID, which is what let me see it. What is our commit ID? How do we get our commit ID? Git log -- one line is what 788 045D. You can see 788 045D. That's our master branch is being pushed to our master branch in the local repository is being pushed to our master branch in the remote repository. So let's check out to dev branch also. Now you can see it now. It has changed. It says master remote repository. This is remote repository master branch. Local repository test branch, local repository dev branch. So everything, all the branches now and the remote repository are on the same commit ID. Yeah. So now let's switch to dev branch and push dev branch also. So if I do git branch, which branch are we? Which branch are we? We are on master branch. Let's switch to dev branch. So I'll say git checkout dev, right? Now we have checked out to dev branch. Let's check the branch. We are on dev branch. Now let's also push dev branch. Dev branch has how many files? 3 files. Let's also push dev branch to our remote repository. It's going to be git push origin. dev. So we're also going to push dev branch. So it's pushing. Now it has, so you see, it created a new branch in the remote repo called dev, and it pushed dev local repo to dev remote repo. So now all we need to do here is just to what in our browser, in our GitHub, is to what to refresh. Once you refresh, you can see two branches. If you open it, you can see dev now. You can see we don't have test yet. You can see dev. Dev also have the latest commit, and they are all on the same commit commit ID. So that is just it. Now let's push test. Let's do what? Let's push test. We're also going to git checkout test. So we've checked out to test. Test has how many files? 3 files. So now we're going to push it to remote repository also, which is git push origin test, finish. And it's going to push test branch to test also. It did the same thing. Now we have 2 branch before. If you refresh now, we have 3 branches now. Now we have master dev test. Test also is updated. You can see it. So we've pushed all our local repository, all the branches, all the codes to our remote repository. So different developers now or different engineers now can now work on this repository. But I would like us to start working from dev, because that is where we develop the code from. Okay, now what we need to do now is what? We just need to imagine dev branch. Let's go back to our code and let's switch to dev branch. Git checkout dev branch. Now, if I do git branch, let's confirm we are on dev branch, git branch, dev, yes. Now, if I do ls, we have 3 files. Now, let's do what? Let's update. Now, let's update. Let's add more files to our code. Let's add more files to our code. We're going to add more files to our code. Okay, in dev branch, let's create one more file, vi file 4. So we'll say this is for file 4. We'll save it. Now git status should be our best friend command right now. So track file 4 is on track. So let's track it. It's on track. You can see on track file file 4 is on track. So let's say git add file 4 to track it. Now let's commit it. Git commit -n. Message is let's say for file 4. That's just the message. Now now it has been committed. Let's check our logs, which is git log. Let me clear my screen first. So let's say git log dash 1 line. Now you can see, because we are in dev branch and we've added a new file, so we created a new commit. So the dev branch in our local repository is up to date, is the latest. It has the latest commit. It has the latest file or the latest commit ID. You can see, because we are in dev branch. But all other branches, the remote master, remote test, remote dev, local master, and local test, they are still on the old commit ID. You can see it now. So now our local repository, which is our computer right now, this is our local repository, which is our computer, has the dev branch of our local repository. The dev branch has the updated commit ID. That is why head is facing it right now. But anyone you see green is our local repository. Any green you see is our what? Our local repository. Any red is our remote repository. So what you're seeing now is that the local repository dev branch is up to date than all other branch in any repository, both local and remote. So dev branch local repository is up to date because that is where we are developing the code. Dev branch in our local repository is up to date because right now we are in dev branch. Let me say git branch. You see, we are working on dev branch. You can see we are working on dev branch. So we just added a new file. If I do ls, dev branch has 4 files now. So dev branch is up to date. If we switch to test branch, git checkout test. If I do ls, test branch has what? 3 files, but dev branch has what? 4 files. So dev branch is ahead. You can see dev branch is ahead of all other repositories we have in our organization right now, in our Git or GitHub. So any red one, anything you see in red is the remote repository. Anything you see in green is the local repository. So dev branch is ahead of all the branches we have in our local repository and all the branches we have in our remote repository. So dev branch local repository is way ahead of every other branches. So you understand now? It's very straightforward because dev branch has 4 files, while test branch has 3 files. Even master branch also has 3 files. You can see it. Master is still on the old commit. So let's tag this our commit ID first. So let's say git tag is going to be version 5.0. Then the commit ID that we want to tag. This is the commit ID we want to tag. Then message, then version 5.0. I always want to use the same. Now, if you do git log dash one line, you can see, oh, did I put 4? Oh, no, we are on test branch. That's why. Sorry, we are on test branch. You can see. What branch am I at? Test branch. We are on test branch. So let's go to dev branch. Let's go and see the logs from dev branch. So we'll check out, we'll see git checkout to dev branch. Sorry, dev branch. Then let's run git log dash one line. So you can see now, we've tagged our latest commit ID. So now test branch, you can see when we were in test branch, is a head is equal to test. What is the commit ID that is facing test? This. And the tag is what? Version 4. So it's facing, you can see. But in dev branch, we have to switch to dev branch and check the log again because dev has the latest commit. You can see it. So it's very easy. Now, what we need to do, we need to push this dev branch into the remote dev because the remote dev is still on this old commit ID, which is the 3 files. So if you go to our remote, dev has 3 files. If I refresh, dev has what? 3 files. Now, our local repository dev has 4 files. If I do ls, it has 4 files. So what do we need to do? We need to push this file, this repository to the remote. Let's update our remote repository. We're just going to do git push origin dev. And that is it. It's pushed. You can see it's pushed now. So now it said dev add recent pushes less than 1 minute ago. So all we need to do is what? Refresh. You can see we have 4 files in dev branch now. We have what? 4 files in dev branch now. Now, what can we do to the master branch? We can work in different ways. Master branch still has what? 3 files, and test branch also have what? 3 files. We can actually figure out all of these from where? From our local repository. How do we do from our local repository? We merge dev to master and merge dev to test. Then we push master to master, then push test to test. Those are the two ways we can do it. For now, from local repository. From local repository, we can merge dev to master, dev to test. Then for us to push it to our remote repository, we can now push master to remote master and push test to remote test. Now let's check. So this was the last log we checked. You can see it. Only dev local repository is up to date. But now we've been able to push dev local repository to remote repository. Let's see if this remote repository is going to come up. Let's check new logs again. Fine, you can see dev remote repository now is up to date with dev local repository. Only remote master, remote test, local master, and local test are still behind. So it's very straightforward. Is what? Very, very straightforward. So I've told us the only way we can do it to make our local master up to date, our local test branch up to date, our remote master up to date, and our remote test up to date. Let's task ourselves. Let's do this answer. Now, what we're going to do is, what branch are we? Git branch. We are in dev branch. Now, if you want to merge, this is where merge comes in our local repository. If you want to merge dev to master or test, you have to go to this branch first. So you will say git checkout master. Now we are in master branch. Now, if I say git branch, we are in master branch. Now let's merge dev, because dev has the latest commit, but master and test, they have the old commit. They still have the old commit. So we'll say git merge dev. That is the command. We are on master branch, so we want to merge dev to master branch. So we will say git merge dev. You have to be in the branch of the commit, of the lagging commit. You have to be in that branch, which is the master branch first. Then we'll merge it to dev. That is what we are doing. Git merge dev. That is done. Now, if I do git log again, now you can see master branch is here now. Master branch is up to date now with dev. Now let's merge dev. Let's merge dev to test also. So we have to be in test branch. We'll say git checkout test branch. So ls test branch has 3 files. Test branch has 3 files, right? Now, test branch has 3 files. Then master branch and dev branch, they have what? 4 files now, 4 files. So let's merge it. You will see git merge dev, because we're merging dev branch to test branch. Now it's being merged. If I do ls, test branch now have 4 files. So let's do git log again. Let's see git log. Now you can see test branch is also up to date now. Master branch. So all our local repository are up to date, apart from the remote repository for master branch and test branch. So all our local repository, which is our local repository branches, all the branches in our local repository, I mean, they are up to date. Test, master, and dev in our local repository are up to date. But all the branches in our remote repository are not up to date, apart from dev. Dev remote repository is up to date, but test branch remote repository and master branch remote repository is not up to date yet. They are not up to date. So what we need to do is we need to push them. So what branch are we right now? We are on test branch. So what we will do, we want to push this our test branch local repository to our test branch remote repository so that this remote repository will also be on the same commit ID. So what we'll do is git push origin test. That means we are pushing this test to this origin test. We are pushing it to the remote repository. That's what we are doing. So we enter it. Now it has been updated. You can see test to test. It has been what? It has been updated. Now, if we do git log, let's check it. Now you see this test will come here also, will be on the latest commit. You can see test now is there. Before test was here, was on the older commit, which is the lagging commit ID. Now test is on the latest commit ID now. Now let's also push our master branch local repo to our master branch remote repo. So we have to switch. What branch are we? We are on test branch. We have to check out to master branch, which is git checkout master. Then we'll say git push origin master. You can see we want to push this master to this master here. Master from our local repository branch to master to our remote repository branch. That is what we want to do now. It's now it's pushing. Now it has been pushed. So now all we need to do is what? Refresh. Now test branch has 4 files. Dev branch has 4 files. Master branch has 4 files. So everything is now on the same commit ID. You can see it's the same commit ID. And we can also do that, confirm that from our local repo by checking the logs. You can see everything now is on the same commit ID. All the local repository, all the local branches, and all the remote branches are on the same commit ID now. So we are good now. So that is how to do all of this. Okay, that is how to work with all of this. Then we'll talk about Git. I'm going to be talking about Git pull also in our next class. Git pull and Git clone. What is the difference between Git pull and Git clone? I've already explained it before, but we're going to check that also. Then someone talk about git ignore, the .git ignore file. Yes, we did some troubleshooting on the .git ignore file yesterday, which I'm just going to show us now. So we have, how many branches do we have right now? We have 3 branches. Git branch. So git branch, this is our local branch. This branch will show you all the branch you have in your local branch. Why git branch -a will show you all the branches you have, both local and remote. So this is the remote, which is our GitHub, which is this. This is our remote. Yeah. Why this is our local branch. This is our local branch or local branches, and these are our remote branches. So git branch -a will show you all the branches you have, both local and remote. That is what git branch -a will show us. Okay. So now I just want to show us how git ignore works, because we had issues with git ignore yesterday. So now in the dev branch, or let's say in the dev branch, let's switch to dev branch. Git. Oh no, the question yesterday was, you want to create a new branch and you don't want to inherit all the 4 files. I've not done that before, but the idea I brought was, or the idea we talked about, we all spoke about was, using the git ignore files, the git ignore .git ignore file, right? And we also check what we call creating the .git ignore file. But any file, so let's clone, let's create a new branch first. We'll create a new branch. Let's create a new branch. It will say git checkout -b. Let's create a new branch called QA. So this command will create a new file. We'll create a new file and check out to the branch. I mean, it will create a new branch QA and check out to the branch QA. So if I do git branch, now we are on QA branch right now. You can see, and QA also have how many files? 4 files. So when you create a new branch, the new branch inherits all the contents of the old branch you are creating it from. That is the idea of creating a new branch. But now, Slim asks a question that, what if we want to ignore, we don't want this branch to have all these files in our remote repo? You know what? We can ignore them by putting them in the .ignore file, .git ignore file. But there is a problem. If Git is already tracking that file, you can't ignore it. If Git is already tracking that file, you can't ignore it. So Git is already tracking these 4 files. That was the issue. Git is already tracking these 4 files. So for us to do this, we have to untrack it first. We have to untrack all these 4 files first in this QA branch. So we have to untrack these 4 files first. We have to untrack them because Git is already tracking them, because it's in Git's repo already. And Git cannot ignore what is already tracked. So you have to untrack the file to ignore it. So now we want to ignore it, right? Then we'll go with this command to untrack all the files. We have to do what? We have to untrack all the files first. So for us to be able to untrack all the files, we'll use a command called git remove cached. So we'll say git remove cached file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4. So we'll say, no, let's untrack only file 1 and file 2. We'll say git remove cached file 1. This is how to untrack file 1. So we've untracked file 1. We'll run the same command again to untrack file 2. Git remove cache file 2. So I want to untrack these 2 files. So I've untracked these 2 files. Now, because we want to push this QA to our remote, but we don't want to see file 1 and file 2. So we have to untrack file 1 and file 2 first. Untrack them. Now, untracked, I will tell us when you create a new file, and you've not done git add the file name, and you run git status, it will tell you this file is untracked. So this is the same thing we are doing to this file 1 and file 2. It's like we just created this file now, so they are untracked. So that is just what we've done. We have to untrack them. Remember when I say take note of this untracked file, because we're going to use it. So file 1 and file 2, they are untracked now because they have been removed from Git repository. You can see removed file 1, removed file 2. So this file 1 and file 2 have been removed from Git repository. So they are untracked by Git right now. So now let's create our .git ignore file and put this file 1 and file 2 inside. We'll say vi.git ignore. So we will write file 1, then file 2, then save it. Now we've edited this file, this .git ignore file, and we've written file 1 and file 2 inside. So it will ignore these 2 files. So what we'll do after this, we need to add all of this. We'll say git add dot. We need to add dot git ignore file now because we just created the file. Add, then we'll say git commit. We also commit git commit dash m. We'll say for git ignore. That's the message. Now we've committed it. So as when we committed it, it said delete mode. That means we untrack it from GitHub, from Git repository, I mean. So now what we're going to do is we're going to push this QA of our local repository to QA of our remote repository. Now, if I do git branch, where are we? We are working on QA. ls, don't forget, we still have 4 files, but these 2 are untracked by Git repository, Git local repository. So because we've mentioned them in the .git ignore file, some of us will be wondering why we're not seeing the .git ignore file that we created. .git ignore file, this file that we created here, is an hidden file. So any file that starts with dot is hidden. So for us to see hidden files is ls-a. You can see .git ignore file. So we've mentioned these 2 files now in this file. So now let's push it. We'll say git push origin to where QA. Don't forget we are in QA branch. So we are pushing our local QA branch to our remote QA branch. So we'll push it and is what is being pushed. It's pushing. Now it's being pushed already. You can see it's pushed. So now let's go to QA branch. Let's refresh. And we'll go to, now we have 4 branches: master, dev, QA, and test. Let's go to QA branch. Now you can see we can't find the file 1 and file 2. We can't find the file 1. We can't find file 1 and file 2 because we've ignored them. So it's not being seen. You can see you can't find them. So Git is not monitoring file 1 and file 2. It's ignored. Git will ignore file 1 and file 2. So that is the whole idea. That is the whole idea of ignoring files using .git ignore. So that is how you can ignore files. So let's try one more thing. Let's create. Now we are in QA branch. Let's create 2 files. I'll say touch file 6 and file 7. I'm creating 2 files. If I do ls, we have file 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. But now we've ignored these 2 files, file 1 and file 2. We only have these 2 files in our remote repo. Now we want to add file 6 and we want to ignore file 7. We don't need to untrack any of these files because Git is not tracking this file yet. These files are untracked by Git. This is the original method of how to do this thing because we just created this file and Git is not tracking these 2 files yet. If you do git status, you can see untracked files, file 6 and file 7. So these 2 files are untracked. They are not tracked by Git yet. This is the original way to do it. They are not tracked by Git yet. So if you want to ignore any of the file, I want to ignore file 7. So we'll vi into .git ignore file that we have. Then we'll come down, we'll put file 7 because we want to ignore file 7. We'll put file 7 and we save it. So once we save it, now we've mentioned file 7 inside .git ignore file and we save it. Then we will now do git add dot. You see, we put the file 7 in the git ignore first before we do git add dot. So we'll add it. So now Git is monitoring only file 6 now. It will ignore file 7. That is what we've done. So what we did before to untrack was we don't want Git to monitor this because we want to put them in the ignore file. We want to ignore them. So that is why we untrack it. But now we created new files, file 6 and 7. They are untracked. When you create a new file, they are untracked. So you can ignore file 7. Then before you now add it. Once you add it, Git is monitoring file 6, but it's not monitoring file 7. So now we will commit it, Git commit -m messages, let's say new files, then we'll close it. Now we want to push it. We'll say git push origin. We are in what branch? We are in QA branch. Don't forget to. We are in QA branch. You can see QA branch, git push origin, QA. Now we are pushing to QA branch. Now all we need to do is what? Refresh. Now we can only see file 6, but we can't see file 7 because what? We ignore file 7. If we go into our ignore file, you will see file 7 there. You can see we've ignored these 3 files. We've ignored them. So now we only have file 3, file 4, and file 6 in our remote repo. But in our local repo, if I do ls, Git is not monitoring these 3 files. File 1, file 2, and file 7. Git is not monitoring them because they are on track. If I do git status, these 3 files, they are on track. So Git is not monitoring them. That is the reason why we're able to add them to the .git ignore file. If Git is monitoring any file, you can't add it to .git ignore file. It won't ignore the file. Git will not ignore an existing file is tracking. No. So you have to untrack that file from Git for Git to be able to ignore it. That was the issue yesterday. You have to untrack any file that Git is monitoring or staged or in the indexed area. You have to untrack it for Git to monitor that file. But if you create a new file, it is untracked or by default. Git is not monitoring when you create a new file. So you can add that new file to .git ignore file because Git is not tracking a new file. When you create a new file, it's just in your working directory. So once you run git add, the file name is tracked and is in the staging area or called the index form. Then when you do git commit is when you commit it to the local repo. Once you do git push, you are pushing it to the remote repo. That is all the idea. That is all we needed to do. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. One more thing. If you are pushing to your remote repo and it asks you for username, put your GitHub username, which is this, put it, enter. It will ask you for password. Your GitHub password won't work. What you need to do is what? You need to go to your user settings. You can see, you need to come here, go to settings. For password, you will come to developer settings, personal access token, click on it, choose the second one, token classic, click on it, then generate new token classic, click on it. Then you have to write a name. You can change the retention period or the expiration period, to 90 days. Then check all the box, check them and generate new token. So once you generate the new token, copy the token and put it as your password. Git does not use username and password. Git use username and access token now. So in case you are trying to push and it shows you username, put your normal username, your Git username, then your GitHub username. And when it says password, go and generate new token, the way I've just explained it to you. Generate new token. Once you generate the token, put the token there, copy it and paste it. It won't show. So it won't show, the token won't show. Just paste it and enter. It will work, it will push. It will only ask you once until you change the GitHub again, that it will start asking you again. So that is how it works right now. Okay. So I'm going to send this video. Thanks for chilling with us, chilling with me, chilling with the entire crew. God bless you. So I'll see you guys on Thursday. It's very straightforward. So just try to watch it and understand everything. Thank you very much.